So this is a fictional client. Industry retail, location UK. This is the size company. So our search string in this case is MD or Managing Director or CEO or Chief, etc., etc. Market number, there's a total of 5,177 inside the niche. Inside my LinkedIn network, I've got 1,247. That means I've got a gap of 3,930. Why is that important? Well, first off, if it was a brand new member, you're saying, right, so you've got 1,247 of your target client inside your LinkedIn network now. Yes. What have you done with those in the last 30 days? Nothing. What's in the last 90 days? Nothing really. Okay, let's run a campaign against this 1,247. Let's run a campaign against 25, then against 50, then against 75, and let's see how we can increase that campaign. So straight away, we've got 1,247 there. We can run a campaign against that on LinkedIn. The first action is we can run a campaign. Action 1, we can run a campaign on our existing connections. Action 2, right, we've got a gap here. We've got a gap of 3,930. So why is that important? Well, second action, we want to build and fill our gap. So these are both LinkedIn we're talking about. So straight away, we got two actions for our VA. One is we're going to use this template, which is in the LinkedIn campaign session. We're going to use this template on these clients. So in this case, we might choose these clients, this row. We've got 1,247 there. And secondly, we might say there's a gap there, 3,930. So the second thing we want to do is we want to build up our network. So there's one of your first actions, Mr. VA. I want us to run a campaign against a 1,247. Let's see if we can get engagement. Let's see if we can get some form of appointment. Let's see if we can get them into our diary. Let's see if we can do an avatar interview. Let's see, etc., etc. with that 1,247. So we're going to run 50 on the first day, maybe just 25 if it's C-suite. We've got our template. We're going to send it to 25, see what the response rate is, tweak a few bits, run it on 50, tweak a few bits. Then we realize that every 100 we put through, we get 10 responses. Of those 10, 5 respond to message 2. Of those 5, we speak to 2. Now, currently, I'm not using this 1,247, but that means if I put 100 through, I'm getting 2 actual conversations with them. So if I put 1,200 through, I'm going to get 24 conversations with them. So straight away, I know I've got 24 conversations with my 1,247. So the constraint then becomes, wait, guys, Andy, I've had a conversation with 5 of them, just converting none. What's going on? Okay, what do we use in the conversation? Have we got a CAS built yet? Etc., etc. But the next constraint is going to be become the conversation. Now, is that conversion rate of 2 and 100 good? We don't know yet. Later on, we probably want to improve that to 5 out of 100, then tweak it again to 10 out of 100. But right now, let's get traction. We've got 24 conversations. We didn't have that before. Second action for our VA. Right, we need to build out a 3930. So if we send out 100 invites a day, we get 50% acceptance rate. That's 250 per week we're going to be connecting with. That means it's roughly going to be taking us, well, in the first month, we get 1,000 connections. So it's going to take us 4 months to fill that gap. Now, it's being linear. Of course, there's going to be problems along the way, and not everyone's going to connect. But you see straight away, we've got an activity for our VA. So that's 4 months worth of connecting there for our VA. And of course, as we connect, and we then maybe give them some breathing space, or we might nurture them. I'm not going to get into details of campaigns now. But now we've got 1,200 connected with. But then soon we're going to have 2,400 we're connected with, 3,600 we're connected with. And again, can we go back to action 1 and run that campaign over and over again? Are we being systematic with our metrics that way? Even if we put through 100 and we get 1 point of engagement, is that perfect? Of course it's not. But we're on about getting traction. Now looking at this, Mr. VA, moving down to the next one. Let's go into retail. So straight away, what we've got is 4 months worth of connecting here for that very first type of client. But then also that will then dovetail into an action for the VA to actually be running a campaign against them. So we can plan out our VA's time straight away. Then your VA comes back and says, the acceptance rate is 10%. Well, we've got a problem there then. What's the problem? Let's check out our profiles, check out our websites, check out the message. It's probably one of those 3 variables why the connection rate is so low. But what we got with these numbers is direction for our VA. So what we can see on a weekly, even daily basis is how's that gap decreasing and what are our actual campaign metrics. Now, same for our database. We got 5,177 in the market. We've got 826 in our database. Got 826 in our database. So we got a gap there again, a big gap this time, 4350, 4351. But now a database. So Mr. VA, action 3. Action 3. Let's take that 826. Let's run a campaign against them. Again, we're going to put 50 through and test it. Then another 50 through. Test it until we're happy with the conversion. Then Mr. VA in the background is also going to be building that database to build and fill the 4351 gap. So if he adds 1,000, let's say for argument's sake, he builds, let's keep it simple, 500 a week. That 500 a week will then dovetail back into action 3. You might make it a separate action. Action 5, Mr. VA, the 500 per week being built, you run in a campaign. So right from the start, we can start to plan out our VA's time. And we can also measure the success of what we're doing, both in terms of filling the actual gap, but also in terms of the actual campaign running. So just from that very first row of data, there's a number of actions there we can do. We can run. And we can measure. And I think sometimes what we do is we do a bit of something, and a bit of something else, and a bit of something, and we run a template against one part or one avatar, and then go and test it on another part. And what we should be doing is being iterative and testing it on the same prospect, tweaking it till we're happy with it. Then we can just repeat it over and over again. But again, we're talking about here running a campaign. That's one campaign. We got tens of different options to run a campaign. But what we got when we have this sort of information straight away is we got control. So we said at the top of the call, we got control. And we can see whether our gap is going down as it should be each week, which we'll come to in a minute. But also it allows us to actually drive the campaigns. So in terms of that understanding, any questions there? Does that make sense, guys, in terms of what we've just gone through there? Those of you who've asked about templates, you're going to get everything on the screen. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, a lot of questions. Let me just see first of all. My niche is life sciences, sales and marketing across UK and Ireland from campus sector, sales and marketing professionals specialised in particular area. Pre-atomics, do I segment according to sub-niches? Yes, you do, Lise. Yes, you do segment across the sub-niches. Yeah, absolutely. My LinkedIn network is a mixture of clients and candidates. Do I get my VA to separate the two? Ideally, but also going back, Lise, we said if you look at your marketplace and there's 20,000 clients and there's 50,000 candidates, well, it's not going to be in your niche, I don't think. Then you may choose to have for example, your profile might move to be client focused moving forward and your VA to be candidate focused moving forward. But we do need to isolate who's who. Absolutely, yeah. So coming back to what we've got as a process. So what we've done so far is we've mapped the market. So what we've done is we know the total numbers. Step 2, what we've now got is an understanding of the gap. For both our LinkedIn and our database. So this gives us straight away 2 actions for our VA. Then next, we need to prioritize and segment. So who do we focus on first? And we've got a number of options. 1, we use that for the dataset building. 2, we use it for our LinkedIn campaigns. And 3, use it for other campaigns. VA will then take this, they'll then build a dataset from this. They'll then build a database from this information. So once it's done, we can pass the Excel sheet to our VA. The VA then takes that and they build a database. So we've got this data set. Essentially, we're going to take our segmented data. So say, for example, we've identified these 104 directors of sporting goods inside the UK. So with LinkedIn, high-level steps, as before. We've got our Boolean search strings. We've got our spreadsheet. Ian, if you're still there, Ian, let me know. So the chat box. The VA is going to take ownership of that. And then on LinkedIn, use it to number 1, connect. Then number 2, on LinkedIn still, once connected, so we're going to message with a campaign. And then what we've got is, again, still on LinkedIn, we've now got campaign metrics. So for every 100 we connect with, this happens. Every 100 we send a message to, this happens. But because we know there's 3,900 in the marketplace for this one sub-niche, and we know that the metrics are going to be pretty linear, we can start to plan ahead what's going to happen on LinkedIn for the next X amount of weeks or months. Now, it could be you plan ahead and go, there's 3,930 in the gap. I'm currently getting one response out of 500 messages. Are we going to keep sending the same campaign? Of course we're not. However, if you get that one meeting from 100 messages, or with James, we get that one candidate place from 1,000, and we extrapolate that across to 3,000. If we just let that run in the background, there's no more input for me till it comes in my inbox and my VA is giving me our inbound responses. Is that going to help right now? Probably yes. Again, but then the next phase would be, right, we're getting a 1% reply rate. Every 100 we contact, we get that one awesome reply. How do we tweak it? Let's see if we can make it a 2%. So with LinkedIn, with our data sets, we want our VA to be running this. And again, your VA owns this process. They own that process. Apart from this bit right at the start, which is you. But this should run in the background. So you're on holiday. This is running. You've got 2 weeks focusing on candidate interviews or candidate coaching or whatever it might be, or something's going on. This should still be running in the background. It might be you choose to pause it and you say, do you know what? I'm getting too many leads in. Or I'm getting leads in, but they're not the right type of lead. We need to add a filtering part to the process. Or we need to change our message to make it more focused. We're getting all these responses from developers, but do we need to be more targeted? But this should be running in the background all the time. So if you think about what happens in your business, you're going to be going through phases. And phase 1 is let's build our assets. I.e., in this case, let's build a LinkedIn network. There are other platforms, guys. I'm just using this one repeatedly because lots of you use it. And let's build our database or our data sets. Step 1. Then step 2 is let's actually leverage what we've built. Let's leverage the assets. But what we don't want to do is wait till the database is 95% complete, then we start running campaigns. No, as it's big enough, we've got 500, 100, 1,000. Let's start to put them through right away. Let's leverage the assets. So what Nick's done is built the asset. And if you think building the asset, so I've got all my data now, job is done. No, as far as I'm concerned, with the new world of recruitment or business per se, that is foundational stuff now. That asset is foundational stuff. Now, how we use it, how we leverage it, this is where the magic happens. This is where the magic happens. So we got 20,000 candidates, clients, whatever it is sitting there. And we're not running it, or we are running it, it's not converting as well. Do you know, I've put all 10,000 through, and I've got a 1% conversion, whatever conversion means for you. Epic. Right then, let's focus on the next 90 days. Let's try and get all 10,000 through again and get it to 5%. What's the actual outcome for you? Is it an appointment? Is it them demonstrating an audit they've got a need? What is it? But building this asset, this isn't game done. This is what I truly believe for business moving forward. This is foundational stuff. This is going to keep people in business in years to come, and businesses not going to be in business years to come. So build the asset, number one, then we leverage it. So this is where we start to run. We run campaigns, but also we start to nurture. We start to get authority. And what most people do is they focus on running the campaign. I've run a campaign to get candidates, campaign to get clients. Deep breath. But all we've done is run campaigns for now. And again, going back to sustainability, we want to nurture. We want to get authority. So we want to leverage the assets. And then what we want to do is either going to replicate, which some people do in multiple niches, or we scale in that same niche. So the one I try and push most into is scale in the same niche, i.e. we've got these 200,000 mapped out, Tiffany. We know for every 2,000 we put through or 4,000 we get onto a webinar, we do 350K. We extrapolate that across the rest. If it is linear, that's pretty powerful. So let's keep doing the same thing over and over again, but tweak it or segment it even further. So we scale it in the same niche. Or what lots of people do is they say, this is cool. I'm going to go into a new niche. I'm going to do the same thing in the new niche, but all we've done is do some base campaigns. We've had a good 6 months, and we've gone and replicated it into a new niche. What we've not done, though, is we've not taken on board, going back to what I said right at the start, is this is about a business strategy. So that nurturing, that gaining authority, we really want to do that inside the same niche. But everything we do starts with building the assets. But unfortunately, we get excited and we go into replicating to other businesses, and then we try and catch two rabbits, and then the first business goes down. So what normally happens, and I normally try and push people to stay into the same niche. However, we've got to get that this building process now is the base of it all. The base of it all. So with the new game plans, the authority, the nurturing, some of you is going to be your big focus. Some of you is going to be about, right, let's make sure we've got these assets on point. But this is key. So going back to our automation, we've got our data set, we've got LinkedIn.